others who have the same problem with what one of the majority party here in the United States Senate is trying to do. It's something that surprises a lot of people, something that would completely revamp, completely change a system that's been in place since 1787. And I understand that they are soon going to be forcing a vote on a bill that they are naming the For the People Act, and it's anything but for the people. For those familiar, this is a Democrat bill to nationalize our elections and to give Washington unprecedented and unconstitutional power over states and local governments. Each speaker, including myself, who's spoken so far, has been jealously guarding their system because we have put into place a very safe and honest way of handling our elections. Now, keep in mind, this bill is not new. House Democrat, they have passed this back in 2019, right on party line votes. In fact, the only bipartisan aspect of the bill is its opposition, as was just stated by another speaker. Now, back in March, along with every single House Republican, one brave House Democrat voted against this bill. And the reason is clear. And it's been stated, but let me put all 5 of these things into one area so that it's a little easier to understand. The bill is filled with dangerous anti-democratic provisions that make it easier to steal votes. One, like legalizing ballot harvesting. Each member has been talking about ballot harvesting and the threat that is out there. Banning voter IDs. In my state of Oklahoma, we ban we have ID laws to safeguard our votes. They're attempting to restore felons' right to vote. Why would you want to restore a felon's right to vote? And I have not heard anyone yet give a good argument that is persuasive. Allowing voters to cast ballots outside of their precincts. That's just one step further and one step easier to falsify ballots. Subsidize political candidates with federal funds. We've been talking about that. Several people have mentioned some of how it might affect some individuals. It's more accurately named the For the Liberal Politicians Act. In their mind, it not only ensures that they can control elections forever with ballot harvesting and other questionable practices, but they would also get millions in taxpayers' funds to bulk up their campaigns. I just reminded them, and others have mentioned this too, it sounds like you might be criticizing Ted Cruz when you say this, but not, because he knows it's wrong. He observed that when he was running for office, that if he had been able to harvest the opportunities you have from the federal government, he would have raised some $24 million in federal funds in the first quarter of this year of his campaign. Now, the Oklahoma State Election Board Secretary, Paul Cizik, shared with me his strong concerns about this bill, what it would do to my state of Oklahoma and our election integrity laws. It would impose policies that contradict state law, like legalizing ballot harvesting and preventing voter ID for in-person voting. As he is responding for managing and the one responsible for managing the elections in Oklahoma, he knows how bad this would be for Oklahomans. Today, Oklahoma's elections are safe, secure, and fair. Secretary Cizik has said it best in 2019 when he testified before the House that Oklahoma's voting system is, quote, one of the most reliable, most accurate, and most secure, and most efficient, and most cost-effective and speediest voting system in the entire world. We pride ourselves in that. That's Oklahoma doing it, not the federal government, not the federal government doing something that might benefit one segment of our society. It's clear the Democrats are playing politics with S1. Now, following the 2020 presidential election, Democrats complained about efforts to remove states from running their elections But now Democrats are seeking sweeping federal control over elections. I'm going to mention something that no one has mentioned before. And I guess the only reason that it comes to my mind is I've been doing this for a long period of time, being concerned in trying to preserve our electoral college. Back in 1787, in we had a problem. They're putting together a constitution to try to establish a way of voting in the United States of America that would be safe for everyone and would be equitable. And so they came out with, they didn't want to do it just on a one-person vote, because if you do that, that's a decided advantage for all of the large states. And so what they did was come up with what they called the Electoral College. And that was, they made the effort to correct the problem. This was, we're talking about back in 1787. In 1787, we had a system where we had 4 of the very large states and 9 small states. So if you just, the 4 large states comprised of more than 50% of the electorate. So that wouldn't work. That wasn't going to work. And of course, the same thing is true today. Today, 9 states have a majority of the votes. And so it was the clear intent not to let the large states have control of our system. Now, I'm sure some of the large states disagree with that. Some Democrats, a lot of Democrats disagree with that because they'd be at a decided advantage in an election. And so what we did, we established the Electoral College, and I've committed, that is my main cause right now because it's in jeopardy now. The Electoral College is being attacked on a regular basis. In fact, one of the prominent Democrats that's currently in the leadership of the Democrat Party has introduced a resolution to do away with the Electoral College. That's something we cannot allow to happen. And oddly enough, it has survived for, 233 years now. 233 years, and yet it's survived all that time, but there are those attacking it right now. So that's another one of the major issues that we're concerned with, and that is that we are not only giving up all the creativity and the safeguards that are in a secure system put together not by the federal government, by the states, and trying to take that over for the federal government. They've been attempting to do this now for 230 years, and they haven't been successful, and I'm hoping they will not be successful on my watch. Thank you.